where it's always business up top and pajamas at the bottom. I am your host, Jim McCarthy. I am the client advocate for Strix, Louisiana. My job is to make sure that all of our clients are set up with the best equipment, software, and IT solutions to make sure their businesses are running at optimal efficiencies. We also have David DeArmond, the owner of Strix, Louisiana, with us.
Hey everybody, I'm David, and I'm the owner of Strix, Louisiana. We opened in 2008 to service small businesses and their IT needs. And so it's my job to kind of keep an eye on both what's available in technology and what small businesses need today.
All right, thanks, David. So, just to let you guys know a little bit about Strix, Louisiana, we believe that there is always a better, simpler way. So what this means is we're constantly searching and adapting our processes to make sure that we have the best solutions in place for our clients. We believe that part of this responsibility is to educate our clients as well as others as to the current resources they have in place, security risks that are happening in the IT world today, and just an overall knowledge of some of the technical applications they can use throughout their business. And so that's really why we designed this Chill with Jim session. So this is a knowledge program. It's to help educate. Any questions about technology are game. You know, you can drop any questions in the chat if you would like, or we actually would love to invite you to go ahead and come on the microphone and to ask any questions about the topic or about technology in general over the mic so we can create some engagement here. Today, we're going to be talking about Microsoft 365, also known as Microsoft Office or Microsoft Office 365. Seems like about twice a year, Microsoft likes to change up the names of things. So that creates some confusion along with the changing of the names. A lot of times they'll kind of change up what's offered in every plan that they give you. So we've noticed through our clients, there's been, a lot of questions about which plan is best for me, which one should I put in place for my business, or even, if I have a family at home, what's the best plan I should use. So today we're going to go over a lot of those things. It's quite a bit of information, so I'm going to move a little bit fast. If you have any questions, like I said, just go ahead, drop them in the chat, or unmute yourself and go ahead and just interrupt me, and we'll go into your question. But we're going to start off. I'm going to share my screen, and we're just going to go over a lot of these plans and some of the resources they offer here. All right, so for the first thing we're going to go over, we're going to talk about the home use for Microsoft 365. They have 3 different plans that they offer. They have the Microsoft 365 Family, which used to be Office 365 Home. They have Microsoft 365 Personal, which used to be Office 365 Personal. And then they have the Office Home and Student 2019. This is the only option they give for you to buy the software of a one-time purchase. The other 2 are going to be either a monthly or a yearly plan that you pay for, a subscription model. A lot of the software companies are going to this, so they can hook you every year to give them a little more money. So with the 365 Family, you're going to get all of these premium apps included: Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Outlook, Access, and Publisher. They're going to give you a couple services here with your OneDrive and Skype. Notice that the Home and Student plan does not offer all of these options. It does not include Outlook, Access, Publisher, OneDrive, or Skype. So it's a pretty limited plan, but you get the I guess it's the added benefit of buying it one time and owning it for forever, I guess. With the 365 family, you're actually able to add 6 people to this plan, whereas if you get the personal one, it's specific to one person. Some of the highlights here, you're going to get Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. You're going to get these as a desktop application. So not only are you going to get the web version and the mobile version, but you're going to have this as an actual program on your computer. For those of us who like to travel or might not have the best internet service at home, these are great plans because you don't have to rely on just having internet to use your resources. They come in with some added benefits. They have some creativity tools. They do offer templates, stock photos, icons, things like this. Your OneDrive is going to get some advanced security options. Skype, which I think we all know what Skype is, especially during the COVID. And then the great thing about these 2 plans, and I'm primarily talking about the family and the personal, the student is quite limited, but with these 2 plans, they work on your Windows machine, they're going to work on your Mac machine, and they're going to have applications for your phone for both the iPhone and for Android. So that's great. They do offer also as well technical support. If you can actually get a hold of them, that's a great thing. One of the hardest things that we face is trying to get a hold of Microsoft for technical support. So we will go ahead and move on to the business options. So now a lot of these business plans are going to be for small, medium to moderately sized businesses. They offer the Business Basic, which used to be Office 365 Essentials. They offer the Business Standard, which used to be named Office 365 Business Premium. And now they changed Microsoft 365 Business Premium, which used to be just 365 Business. So, yeah. So, actually, and this is a great point to put. After we get through some of these and we get the discussion going, I'm gonna send the links to these web pages from Microsoft themselves because really it gets confusing after a while. If you think about last year's premium is now standard, but the premium from last year is now not premium. So it's just confusing. Here's the prices: $5 a user a month for the basic, $12.50 a month for the standard, and $20 a month per user for premium. What's great about, I think, all of these except for the first one, let me just double check, is so with the standard and the premium, you're actually going to get a hard desktop application. Again, we talked about it last time. This is going to be crucial if you don't have access to the internet. A lot of us travel, a lot of us don't have the best internet at home, so I really like having the desktop version on my computer. And actually, even though the functionality is very similar, I still like the desktop apps better. I think David has gotten real used to the Outlook online.
Yeah, the online apps have come a long ways, and so if like you were talking about, if you don't have good internet connectivity, then you may need those desktop apps. But if you're a lightweight user or you have people within your organization, one of our clients has several contractors that they employ, and they're lightweight users, and so they can really use that, the basic version there for their contract employees, because they don't need the full desktop version. So
Great point. So what's a really good benefit I've always liked about this is since I've known Office or Microsoft 365 products is they do allow you to do this on 5 devices. So even with the web and the mobile versions, you're going to have 5 different devices that you can use their products on. So it's a great incentive for employees. So if an employee comes on, they can put it on their home computer. They can put it on their home laptop if they want. It gives you as an employer, as a business owner, the ability to say, hey, you can't only use this on your work device. Go ahead, put it on your son's laptop or wherever you need it. Put it on your phone. It's a great option for that. So all three of these are going to come with the web and the mobile versions. They're going to come with email and calendaring. So you're going to get all those benefits of Outlook. They do, all of them come with 1 terabyte of storage on OneDrive. So OneDrive is a great tool to keep your computer from having to house all of the information you're using. So we like to use OneDrive for basically everything, but we'll have a central location for all of our procedures. If I'm maybe writing out a contact list, it's not just housed locally on my computer. I can put it on our OneDrive, and the people who Strix Louisiana deems worthy will also have access to that contact list. It comes with things like your teamwork and communication apps. This is Microsoft Teams. We actually did an episode number 2 was all about Microsoft Teams. This is just a great central hub to have all of your communications. So we'll do video chats, we can do phone calls, messaging. We'll create teams and channels based on our clients. So we can always go to this one place to pretty much find all the information we need as a team. Another thing they'll give you is security and compliance. So they're going to help protect your email against spam, against malware. They're going to help control the access of every team member that you give or every user you have, with allowing you the ability to create security groups, custom permissions for everybody. And another neat feature is you can have a password policy put into place. So let's say we want everyone to change their passwords every 3 months to keep it safe and secure. All we do is we go in, we set that policy, and every 3 months it'll tell them, hey, you got to change your password. And by the way, it can't be the same version of the old password. So it's great. It keeps everybody safe and secure. The one thing to note here is for super large companies or large companies, I consider them super large, but you're going to be maxed out at 300 users. So, this is the total amount of users you can add to these packages. So with the standard and premium, they give you a few more options to manage your business. They'll give you Microsoft Bookings, which is like an appointment-based program. It gives you access to Mile IQ, which used to be a separate entity, but Mile IQ allows you to track your mileage of every employee so you can reimburse them. Microsoft actually recently bought them out. Here, like we talked about before, the desktop versions. Again, with the desktop versions, you get 5 instances to drop these on 5 different devices. And then with the premium is where you're going to get the most added security. So Microsoft's going to do a lot of things on the back end to make sure that your devices, your email, all of your information is safe and secure. They give you some malware protection. They have a cool option where you can remotely wipe company data from a lost or stolen device. Also comes in handy if you do terminate someone and you want to make sure all that information is off. They give you this option to do it remotely. So that's pretty cool. And then they give out some more kind of device management options. You can do advanced security policies. You can automatically install and configure Windows updates. This is all basically going to be in your premium plan here. So now
Yeah,
what happens? Yeah.
just to jump in, sorry. The premium plan, what it's really geared for is for those companies that are ready to get rid of their on-site Active Directory. So if you're familiar with that world, you have a server that is on site, and it controls all the users. And there are many things that you can do to control a computer with an Active Directory deployment. With that premium version, you have almost the same number of capabilities, sometimes even more, to control an environment, but without that Active Directory server sitting in your office. You use Azure Active Directory, and so we have found that's the plan that we put clients on when they're ready to get rid of the on-premise server. When you go premium, you can have all of the protection for your business without having an on-site server, which is that's the direction things are going, and it's provides a lot of flexibility that way.
Yeah, that's a great point. On-premise devices, equipment is becoming less and less needed in the world of cloud. So this is a great way to add it, maybe add a user, add a computer, go ahead and make those policies throughout all of your devices without having to have the server on site. So that's a great point, David. Thank you. The last few things we'll look at here, and we'll just touch on it because we do have a huge following on YouTube right now. I mean, there's just millions of people that are just waiting to hear this information. So this pertains to them because this is typically when you get into a 300 user plus world, or it's also great for companies that are held to auditing or contractual obligations. So this is where they call them, the E series. This is where the E series apps are gonna, or plans are gonna come into play. You have different options. The E1, E3, E5. They give you just for $12 a month. You can get just the apps. But this is going to create a lot more security and compliance control throughout all of the devices that you have on your server, or on your environment. So pretty much all of them except for E1 are going to come with the installed version, the desktop version of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. Again, this is where you have a desktop option. You can do it on 5. Some of the other highlights would be with all of these, you're going to get the web versions and the mobile versions. So they offer the Outlook, Exchange, and Office Delve with a couple of these plans. So Outlook is your email, but Exchange is when you're actually using Microsoft themselves for your email client. So Outlook, you can use Outlook. Server. What would you say?
I'm sorry, the email server. Outlook's a client, but yeah.
The email server. So Outlook is like where you can pretty much use Outlook with Gmail, Hotmail. You can bring it into Outlook and use Outlook as your main-facing, application. The Exchange offers you the server, so that's where you're going to house all of your email, all of your back-end stuff is going to be in Exchange. So with a few of the plans, E1 offers you 50 gigabytes of information. The other two will give you 100 gigabytes of data storage that you can use. They're all going to, all except for the apps, the first option are going to come with Microsoft Teams. Again, we talked about this, a central hub for all of your Teams information. Comes with some other added features here, whiteboard features, social and interaction. You're going to get SharePoint Online. Now, I've been talking for a little bit here. David, what's a good explanation of what SharePoint is? What's a good way to describe that?
It's a hub, I guess you would say. Really, it's a place where your entire company can go to share information. And for those of you that have used Teams, Teams is kind of is another front end for SharePoint. And when you get into the back end, you see as you create teams within Teams, it's actually creating SharePoint sites. And so SharePoint allows you to bring in people, it allows you to bring in information, files, and it's a central point where you can share that data. That's really the name's kind of self-explanatory when you look at it. It's the point you go to share everything. It's been around for quite a while. It's been a Microsoft flagship product for quite some time, and like I said, they actually built teams around it. Um, but it was kind of the first thought of, let's put all of the information together where a team can share it easily.
Thank you for that explanation. We have a client that uses this to create like a web-based location for maybe people outside of their organization to drop files, to look at information. It almost is like its own separate web page for whatever you designate it to be. So it's pretty cool the way you can share it with everybody else. It's going to give you quite a bit of storage here, 1 TB at minimum for your OneDrive. Again, OneDrive is that central location you can store and house all of your data. Just like the server used to be on site, this is the cloud-based version. Some other apps here, I won't dive too deep into them because there's just a lot of the capabilities of some of these apps are already in Teams, but also we'd be here all day if I went into each one. So Power Apps is pretty a cool one that comes with their task management thing. You can actually create your own app. They claim that you need little to no coding experience, so that's a pretty cool one I read up on. Power Automate allows you to automate a lot of the workflows that you use. That was actually used to be called Microsoft Flow, and so that's a good one for helping your team be productive. Microsoft Forms, we use that internally. This is a great way to create like an interactive document, almost a form that you can share with your clients. We have one for when we're adding when our client is adding a new employee. So it lists off all of these check boxes they can go in, gives them some other options to ask for, if they want a laptop for this person or if they want a certain license of a product. It gives you a web-based shareable version of this form that's all digital. So it's been really great to use in that way. Planner and To-Do, these are pretty awesome for tracking your goals as a team. Planner is a more of a big picture kind of teams-based goals, a good way to plan your week as a team, a good way to manage your KPIs, your key performance indicators as an organization, and kind of track your accountability with all your tasks you have out there. To Do is going to be more on an individual level. So that's like, it used to be Wunderlist. I think they actually bought Wunderlist. So it's got that functionality where, like for me today, I'm going to have my checklist of things I want to hit for each of my days. So those have been two key factors for us.
Yeah, and just to get everybody ready, that those names are changing, I think next month. So you were just talking about all the names changing.
Yeah.
Planner and To Do are going to come together in holy matrimony and become tasks. So be ready for that.
So all of your to-dos will become tasks in a planner type situation. Yeah, okay, that's they offer some analytics that can help you out. This Power by Pro, that's, we haven't used it too much here, but that seems like a pretty cool program where you can create almost like a dashboard for your key indicators. So let's say you're trying to track leads or sales. You can have a dashboard that lists all of the information. It's going to be an interactive, real-time solution. So
yeah, the BI on there is for business intelligence. So it's really a way, like you were talking about those KPIs. It's a way to create some visual KPIs to give you more business intelligence. It can connect to data, and it can connect to multiple pieces of data, bring it all into one place, and then you can work with the data once you get it all into one place. So it's a very powerful tool. a little bit more complex than some of these other tools, but it's extremely powerful.
Yeah, yeah. And so for maybe some of the businesses you've been to where they have a company dashboard listing all the statistics, this is where you could create that. It'll pull in that information for you and make it nice and pretty so you can have it up on the screen at all times as a reminder. And then the rest of the things are kind of like what we talked about um, before with eliminating the need for a server. So these are going to be, where you can create group policies, you can do Active Directory type tasks inside of Microsoft. But then it's going to give you these added benefits. The one here, E5, maybe you're a contractor who works with the Department of Defense. So this is where you're going to get into your E3, E5 type situation. It's going to give you advanced threat protection. It's going to help you with things like compliance. It's going to help you with things like auditing. It's going to just give you a lot more behind the scenes protection to protect all the sensitive data that maybe you're getting from an outside party, a third party, or maybe you yourself need to protect all the data you're producing. So this is what these plans are really designed for. And so, yeah, I think I said it was a lot of information. So feels like I've been going on and on. I hope
Yeah.
I didn't overwhelm anybody.
When I think about these packages, but because there's so much information, I try to kind of compartmentalize things in my head. And so when you're thinking about the home version, basically it's the applications that you're used to with Office, but you don't have the back end Exchange server. So you don't you connect to other email servers like your Gmail or um, uh, the Outlook.com, which is separate from the Outlook. Again, the names of Microsoft. So that's your home version. Then you get into the business, which starts adding these other applications, things like Teams. That gives you OneDrive, where you can share your information. And the ones that we focus on there, you have the basic, the standard, and the premium. Uh, Basic for small business is going to be online only, and that's what I always think of as it's online only. And then once you get into standard, okay, well, now you have the desktop applications as well. And then when you get into premium, it's about controlling the actual end device and the ability to manage a device. And then when you go to the E series, you're thinking, okay, number one, are you big? So do you have 300 or more users? That goes to the E. Or like you said, do you have compliance needs? If you need archiving of your email, that's in the E version. And with the business versions, you're going to get 50 gigabytes of data, and then you're cut off. You'll just quit getting emails after that point. With the E version, you can archive data, and so it will. You can continue to get email and build up that archive and keep things longer. You can also have things like litigation hold if you're in. If you ever get sued for any reason, it's possible that they could ask you to basically save all of your emails. And a litigation hold is going to prevent people from making huge changes, especially to the data within their email. And so, like you said, it's about compliance when you get to that E level. And then E5, I like to think of that one. The big difference is there. You do get the advanced threat protection, which is really a very formidable antivirus now, endpoint protection. We've talked in the past about what we use, Sentinel-1. Advanced threat protection is right up there at the same level. But to me, the big thing that you get with E5 is you can actually get phone service through Microsoft. And that comes with the E5 version. It runs through Teams. So you basically use Teams as your phone. The one thing that I found that kind of prevents us from going that direction internally is that it doesn't allow SMS messaging, that's text messaging, yet. on that phone service from Microsoft. But so
Okay.
that's how I think of each of those, because it's so much. And then when I need to know something particular, I'll pull up these sites and get a little bit deeper into the woods.
So I take back all of that long explanation I just did for 10 minutes and I insert what David just said and you guys go with it there. No. um, Todd had a great question here. And so it's, how does SharePoint differ from channels in Teams?
Yeah, I don't know if I can pull it up quickly for you. I'd actually, I'd like to show you kind of what that looks like.
Yeah.
Um, Jim, buy me some time here while I pull this up.
What song do I know by heart? I'll start singing. No. Uh, I think so. Just I guess to kind of talk about online storage and cloud-based storage. We've been taught for so long that it's good to have a server on site. It's good to save all that data to a server. And a lot of our infrastructures nowadays are going to have that same structure. So I go to my network drive, which is located on the server, and I pull up the Strix how to onboard a client procedure. The cloud-based solutions open up a whole new world about where you are located. So if I'm off-site and I want to access a server, I need something like a VPN, a virtual private network, to get into the network and then have the same resources. And the cloud-based solution is going to allow me, whenever I sign in as me, I'm going to have those same access as if I'm at the office. And that's one of the huge benefits. There's also a security benefit where um, there's not the risk of something bad happening to your server or someone coming into your office and maybe dropping a thumb drive on your server and taking some of that information, which, you know, we all like to think that that's not going to happen, but there are insider threats. We live in a state where hurricanes and floods happen sometimes. So just the added security of knowing, like, okay, if my server does get drowned, sorry, today, that my information's all up in the cloud and I'm okay with it. I can access it wherever I go. So that is just my little spiel on cloud storage.
Thank you, Jim. So let me show you here, and Todd, you kind of clarified your question a little bit more, and we'll get into that. But so here is one of our teams. We have the Strix LA internal vendors, and this is where we put information about all of the vendors that we use. Now, if you go to Files, you can actually click Open in SharePoint, and it's going to open that channel within SharePoint. So what you see, the SharePoint site, it's the Strix LA internal vendors, just like we had the team. Your channels all create folders, and so Todd, you mentioned that you like to be able to drag and drop, and you use SharePoint for that. You can actually do the same in Teams. So you see each of the channels here has created a separate folder, and you can drag and drop files into each of those folders, but you can do the same within Teams. So if you go to the Files tab here in Teams, you can drag a file right here and drop it. Let's see if I can just come up with something here real quick. We'll just do SQL recovery plan. I'm going to come drop that in Teams. And you see it's uploading the file. Okay, now it's showing here in Teams, and we can go to the same folder here in SharePoint, and you'll see in just a little while it will pop up here. It's in the process of of syncing up right now, but there it is. So you can do the same functionality. I'll tell you the other thing that I really like about using Teams. We use the synchronization as well, and so if you look here, that this is all of my folders. This is Windows Explorer, and we have OneDrive here, and I've synced the Strix LA internal vendors to my OneDrive, and so that same file is also available here with Windows Explorer. So and that's what I mean when I say SharePoint was what Microsoft originally created, and they built everything around it. OneDrive attaches to it. The Teams attaches to it. If you click on Conversations here, you'll see it will actually open up the it will open up Outlook, the web version of Outlook, and you can see the same conversations that happen in Teams. They'll show up in SharePoint, well, in Outlook, but it's it's the way that they have really. It is the point where you go to share everything. So that's how the channels fit in there. I also wanted to bring this one up real quick because you can also do OneNote, and so that's another option that's available through SharePoint, and everyone can keep notes as well. So that's a very long-winded answer to your question there.
But also, like,
but
what we enjoy as a team is that, so David just did all this stuff, right? He just added that new file. So if I look at my teams, it's gonna have that same channel in bold saying that there's a change been made. So there's something been added. So there's some, yeah. So that allows me to know that there's been a change to that team, and how, you know, I can go in and just see what David added. So that's a great thing. It's that one central hub to share information, and it looks like Todd asked, how do you use OneNote?
yeah, Todd, are you asking that more in the general sense or how we use it? When I say we, I mean use it internally.
So if there's a song that, oh, go ahead.
I'll just unmute myself. Really, I'm just curious about how you employ it. What do you use? How do you organize OneNotes if you use it? Do you use it for a specific? Is it just simply a kind of a random note collection? Do you try to organize it in some way?
Yeah.
Do you use it at all? You know, just kind of curious about that.
I personally don't use it. Carlene, you actually may want to answer this because I know at Dugan's you guys have used OneNote in the past. Are y'all using it extensively?
Well, I use it personally. I don't know that we really use it with Dugan's, but I started using it for all my Dugan's trainings, the Dugan's U's that we go to. So I have a tab for each Dugan's U, each event, and then under that I have a page for each supplier that presents. So then when I'm thinking, I'm like, gosh, I remember seeing that supplier and they were talking about something, but what was it? So then I go into my OneNote, and then I may have to go to a few different training sessions, but I know that, once I go into that supplier at one of those training sessions, I'll find the notes that I was trying to remember. Right. And I noticed too that somebody did set it up in Teams, and we are using it for, I'm using it, I guess, for different procedures. So, downloading the bank statements, uploading them into the system, like all that kind of stuff. Somebody had started it in Teams, and I have been, continuing to use that for different procedures.
Yeah, and you can do that. You can share those OneNote notebooks And you can do it actually through Teams, like Carlene is mentioning there. You can add another tab with a OneNote notebook. I've tried. We've tried using it internally a bit in that capacity, and haven't found a good use for it yet. In large part because Microsoft keeps adding functionality directly into Teams that is what we would have been using OneNote for. The meetings that you can have in Teams now has a notes section where you can put notes. Carlene, you mentioned the procedures, and we use wikis for things like that, and that's something else that's built directly into Teams. So we've ended up kind of steering away from OneNote. I know there are some people that really like it, and they don't want to live without it. For us, it hadn't caught on yet.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Like I was thinking, if you guys look in your Teams, go ahead and check out the wiki section. This is a great feature for, kind of information you always want to be tagged to that channel. So we use it for, maybe we want a list of who's employed there. We have a vendors list. So for that client, what vendors they're using for their, to operate as a business. So we'll have their Cox information, we'll have their telephone information. So the wiki becomes, kind of that place you want to stick information that's going to always stay around for the most part. You can update it, but it gives you that location to do that. And then for me as well, when let's say I'm in a webinar and I'm taking notes, I haven't necessarily gotten into the OneNote because I can create a place in Teams to keep all those notes. So I don't have to dance around between two applications. And that's, I think, the biggest benefit.
Is that something that you just would add? Like, what is it, WIKKI or something?
No, here, I'll show my screen again for you and show you what we do with it. So if you look within the team, usually it's already up here as, oh, I didn't hit the share button. Started, okay. All right, so here we are on the team, and you see post files, and there's usually wiki. Now,
Okay.
it's not always there, so let's see. Sometimes I've seen where you have to click the plus button and add a new tab up there, and you can add multiple wikis if you would like. But we'll use it.
Okay.
Like this is information about Defendify. That's one of the vendors that we use, and we got some information. I didn't fill out the description part, but I've got some basic information about them. Our primary contact over there, and so we can do this over and over again, and it makes that information just very easy. So if we know, hey, we need to talk to someone at Defendify, we go to the wiki and say, okay, well, who's my contact? Okay, there it is. Or maybe my account number, or like Jim mentioned, for our clients, we put our vendors, each of our vendors, or the vendors for our clients, and we'll include their account numbers and the contacts so that we can quickly get in touch with them, with their vendors to support them.
Now, can you go back one screen? I just want to ask a quick question, I guess. So, no, right there. No, right there.
Yep. All right.
So it says company information. Now, when I went into I was going to put it under commission teams. It shows something in there. So can you so you have company information. Can you add another? So it says page number. Can you add another page number?
Yes. So like this, you would maybe want to put, we do company information.
Right.
Like that. Okay, that's one page. If you look down here, there's new page. And you click on new page, and you can put.
Where was that?
It's down at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Here.
Okay.
So yep, there you go. And so you can put, another page.
Right.
And,
Okay.
And then name your sections and put information about about the sections. So
Nice. Oh, that'll be good. Okay.
yeah,
I like that actually. I might use that over the OneNote in there anyways for the procedures.
right. Yeah, the wikis are pretty cool. We've started using them more lately, and they've been very helpful to us just to get all of the information together.
Right. That looks good. Thank you.
The other thing that Jim, you mentioned it as you were talking about the apps, and here are most of the apps that come with an Office 365 solution. I mean, but there's 28 of them here. So it's a lot, but one that a lot of people can use but don't know about is bookings. And so I just wanted to show it quickly. This is a way that you can create a just like with Calendly, you can create a web page where people can go and book time with you. So you can create different activities, but and make them available. But it creates a page for you, and I'll just show you mine quickly. Oh, I didn't do a good job of copying there.
Oh, same.
Still not doing a good job of copying. There we go. So if you've ever used Calendly, it's very similar. It ties to your calendar, and so you can open up dates through in the settings and bookings. You can open up dates and times that you're available. You can create different types of services, and then you can send someone your booking. So Carlina, I'm thinking you with your travel, you could add this to your website, and there could be a 30-minute consultation on a trip, and they can just come in here, click 30 minutes, find a time that fits for them, and it loads it onto your calendar. They can put the additional notes, they put in their information, and that's how you can set up a meeting. So bookings is one of those tools that's in Office 365 that a lot of people don't know about, but it's a very handy tool. So,
And then David, that ties in with your calendar, correct? So if
yeah,
you have something blocked out at 11 o'clock tomorrow, I cannot book a time with you at 11 o'clock tomorrow, right? Correct?
that's right. That's
Okay.
right. And you can set certain times that even if you don't have something booked, it won't allow someone to book in that time period. You can block off. Like if you know, the way I like to start my mornings is from 7:30 to 9:30. I'm focused. I have work that I'm going to do. So don't ever book anything with me before 9:30. You can block those times off. Or if you just want to open up small periods where people can set meetings with you, that's one way to do it.
It's kind of weird because when I go, David's so busy, when I go to book with him, I don't know if he's got it user-based, but he doesn't have any time open ever. Like for the next 2 years, I can't schedule an appointment with him to talk about anything work-related. So it might be user-based where you can do that, where it's like, hey, this guy, Jim, I don't want to talk to him.
Is bookings available in the desktop, or is it just the web-based?
Just web-based.
Just web-based, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Todd, it might be a great solution for you with scheduling appointments. Again, you can give people that, tech park or outside of the tech park the option to just go there and see what your schedule's like and plan it when it works for both of you.
Yeah, I think that's I kind of saw that once, but I really didn't dig into it. I'm glad David mentioned it.
Yeah, it's you can also put it on like your Facebook page. They have the call, the schedule a call button in Facebook, and you can put the bookings link there in the schedule a call on Facebook, and it'll go directly to bookings. So and that's one of those things. A lot of people will pay for another service. They'll pay for Calendly or they'll pay for HubSpot or something like that, and don't realize that they already have that service through Office 365. Same thing I've seen with OneDrive. people don't realize that everything you can do in Dropbox, you can do with OneDrive. And so I've seen quite a few people that have both Office 365 and Dropbox. And it's one of those things as we pick up a new client, we'll start looking at all of the tools that they're using and get an understanding and see where maybe they have duplicate technologies in place, and we end up saving them money because we can get rid of the duplicate technology. They're already paying for everything with Office 365.
Yeah.
So talk about that a bit. I mean, I'm not sure. Can you share with OneDrive large files and share
Sure.
them externally?
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
You do have to be careful with your settings on the organization, but yeah, and especially if you have it linked, well, it works anyway, but I'll share my screen again here.
Yeah, it's a great tool for this. And it creates a secure link as well. So it's got a bunch of security in place. Most of the time it will ask them, you can designate it just to one person, keep it extra safe.
So we're looking here at the Strix LA vendors, that same SQL recovery plan that I put in here earlier. You can right click and go to share, and it gives you the option. So people you specify can edit. Now there'll be different options. Maybe it's just people in Strix Louisiana, or people that have existing access, say, to a folder or something like that. Or you can say specific people, and this is where you can add external people as long as your permissions for your company are set for that. But and then you type it in. So I can put in my personal email here, and save it there and send it. What's going to happen now is I'm going to get a link to my personal email address that it links me directly to this file. And it works roughly the same way in SharePoint. So if you open it in SharePoint, you go to the documents, there's the share button here, and you click on share, and it works really the same way.
Yep. And then the editing check mark there is it's a very important aspect. So we have a lot of clients that share files with their clients, and a lot of times it's a spreadsheet, maybe a document. You don't want them to change anything on there. So that's where you'll take off that editing ability, and then it allows them to view it, open it, and see it, but it's not going to allow them to make a change and save it to that location. So that's very important.
Can they copy?
No, generally not. So they have put in some pretty extensive protections within Office 365, and actually once you get into the business premium versions and the enterprise versions, you can't even copy text out of an email. It's pretty impressive what they're capable of doing. But I've gotten frustrated from time to time. I wanted to copy something out of an email on my phone, and you go to copy, and it won't let you even copy text out of there, and that's to protect the data. So,
David, I have a question. So you said the OneDrive can replace Dropbox. Now, what about in my situation with Dugan's? I do have a folder that has just confirmations and stuff like that for my clients and stuff. I keep that on Dropbox. So if I'm traveling or whatever, I can always access my clients' stuff. But I'm, of course, running out of room. With Dugan's, am I able to use our OneDrive for my, clients folder that I wouldn't necessarily want to share with everybody?
Yeah, you can do that. So when you get Office 365, you get basically the company OneDrive, and then you have what I guess you could call your own personal OneDrive. So this is kind of my OneDrive, and Jim doesn't necessarily see this unless I want to share it with him. But you can put all of your folders in here and share the same way. So, you know, I got these exercises here. I can go and share that with someone. And this is my personal OneDrive. Now it's through the company. And so if you have concerns about data ownership, you do have to understand that if you put something on the Dugans or your company's infrastructure, that they technically own that information. But yes, it is possible.
Yeah.
All right, how do I get to, like, how do I know it's my personal OneDrive? How do I get to that? Just like from the web version?
Yes. Let's see. How did I get that synced up to start with?
Choose that
It's
app,
been a
right?
yeah. It's been a while, but I think you just go to the OneDrive app, and that should be installed. Well, that's opening it up. It seems like it adds it automatically. You may already have
I
this.
think so. It's
Because OneDrive
confusing
was
though,
installed.
and it's just confusing because if you look at the name, it's OneDrive, Strix, Louisiana, or it's Strix, Louisiana, the OneDrive of. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we've had some major confusion with clients where they're like, what's the difference? Because they have almost the same name, but the one with the OneDrive in front of it is going to be your more personal one.
Okay.
And then I do believe though, so like Strix, if I have something in my OneDrive, Strix can still access it. They, like you said, they obviously own it, but I think you can still get in because I'm an employee of Strix. You could still get to it, correct?
I'm sure there's a way. I don't know what it is
Okay.
off the top of my head. I've not done that before. But yeah, I mean, it does belong to the company, so I'm sure there is a way to get there.
Okay, well, I'll play with it, David. If I have any problems, I'll ask.
Yeah.
I think one question that, David, when I'm syncing these drives, so if our company OneDrive has 300 gigabytes of information and I sync it, is that going to take up 300 gigabytes of my computer?
It used to, but no, not anymore. So if you'll notice, and that's a great question. If you notice, when we open up these folders here in OneDrive, you see the status here. It has little clouds, and so what that means is this document is actually stored in the cloud. It's not it's not on the computer, so it's not taking up a mega space here. When I double click on this to open it, you'll see it's actually going to download that item, and then it opens it up. Now that it is on my computer, it's going to show a check mark. It's only going to stay on here for a little while. If I don't go back and use this, I don't know what the threshold is, and I believe it can be changed, but after some time, it's going to go back to a cloud. That's something you have to be careful of if you're going to be traveling and you don't have internet connectivity, then you need to know that. And Jim, I don't know if you remember the setting right offhand that you can put it to download everything. It's going to be somewhere here in the settings, and we can certainly help someone with that.
Yeah.
But you can go in and tell it what you want to have it downloaded all the time, so that if you need to save it and have it always available, you can do that.
Yeah,
I don't remember exactly where that is.
I think it's in that managed storage place, but yeah, and I wanted to bring that up just because I know we've had clients ask that before, and there's a concern there. Like you said, it pretty much just used to copy everything onto your computer. So if you had a whole bunch of data, it would just eat up your hard drive. But now they do that great thing where you have to download it. It ends up going back into the cloud eventually. So you don't have to worry about using up a bunch of resources. So, are there any more questions from our awesome participants? Going once.
You counted to
Going
5.
twice. Yes, all the research says I'm supposed to allow for a 5 to 8 second moment of silence because that actually brings out the best questions, they say. So if you see me being quiet for about 5 to 8 seconds, it kills me not to fill that space. But I'm practicing what the researchers say. Well, awesome. So I mean, this has been a fantastic episode. Both of you have brought some great questions to the table. I think, hopefully you're going to leave with a lot better understanding of what's included in the plans, but also how to use the resources that they give you, right? So we learned a lot about the OneDrive, Teams, got the wikis knocked out. So hopefully this just makes you that more capable of, Todd just made a joke about my moment of silence. But that just hopefully makes you that more capable of a user. We really want everybody to be as efficient as they can with the resources they have in place. So thank you all for joining us. This has been amazing. And I'd like to talk about next week. We are doing backup and disaster recovery next week. So with the times of hurricane season brewing, we really would love to talk about the importance of backing up your data and having a disaster recovery plan in place. So next week, that's going to be what our entire Chill with Jim episode is going to be about. So I hope that everyone joins us.
Yeah, I got all caught up in everything else. I'm supposed to be posting the link here. Here we go. Here's the link.
All right. So that's the link just for you guys. If you'd like to register, we love having you on. The discussion is really where we get into the kind of the meat of the subject. So your questions help us dive in deeper. We try to take a 1,000-foot view of everything, but it really allows, when you guys engage like this, it allows us to dive in deeper. So I don't think we had any questions on the Facebook Live, so we are going to go ahead and close this out. Again, I hope you join us next week. I'll bring the pajama bottoms and a nice big bottle of chill sauce. So we hope to see you there, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
Adios.